This news update is brought to you by...
Got kids? Then you need video on demand from Flow, with hours of entertaining shows and movies for boys and girls of all ages. There's always something to watch. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we Flow.
It's Wednesday, February the 3rd, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today Morning News Update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, another attempt is being made today to try to resolve the vexing pay dispute at the Granny Adams International Airport, Inc., and to therefore avert an escalation of industrial action. Management of the company is scheduled to meet during the afternoon with the bargaining agent for the employees, and that's the National Union of Public Workers. The union is demanding that its 135 members be given their back pay of 5 years ago, that the minister responsible for air transport, Richard Seeley, has contended that the 3.5% wage increase being claimed by the NUPW is null and void because it was taken off the table during a meeting in 2010 that was chaired by Prime Minister Francis Stewart. Meanwhile, retired General Secretary of the union, Dennis Clark, is staying clear of the current pay dispute, which has its genesis in an agreement reached when he was still in charge of the union. When pressed to comment on the issue, Clark said he was not getting involved in it and that he was just watching how it played out. And Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Barr said she was keeping a close eye on the impasse and was ready to intervene if called upon to do so. Last Friday, the NUPW staged a 3-hour strike to press the company to pay up. There has been a noticeable impact on deposits and mortgages held with commercial banks. This has come with the removal of the 2.5% minimum interest rate by the central bank last April. As a result, interest paid on deposits has now reached a record low of 0.5% in over 20 years, down from 2.5% minimum set by the central bank in 1991, while payments on mortgages have dropped from between 7 to 9% to 4 to 7%. While commercial banks have welcomed the move by government and view it as a positive market development, economist Jeremy Stephen has warned Barbadians who are eager for a bigger return on their investment that there was unlikely to be an increase in the interest rates on savings unless the domestic economy starts booming again.
So simply, if the economy is bad altogether, it means nobody's going to take on these mortgages at certain rates. So to attract persons, you have to make mortgages and loans more affordable. You follow me? So in cases where the economy is getting worse, deposit rates tend to go down in the interim, and mortgage rates tend to follow as well. You would only find mortgage rates going up and deposit rates going down when there's so much cash around, too much cash around, and people aren't necessarily risk takers, but they're putting everything in the bank, but there's a lot of borrowing going on as well.
He has recently been on the losing end of government's multi-million-dollar waste disposal effort. Now, outspoken garbage hauler Anderson Fatchild Cherry, whose recycling business was recently halted by the Town and Country Planning Department, is dumping his fury on one of the primary beneficiaries of this island's waste, businessman Ralph Busy Williams, who he wants to justify the $24 million in payments his Sustainable Barbados Recycling Center, SBRC, at Vaucluse in St. Thomas, gets annually from the state for processing a minimum guaranteed 1,000 tons of solid waste. While claiming that the refuse disposal could be done for far less than $24 million per year, Cherry is also contending that at least a quarter of those payments should really be made out to him and other private waste haulers. However, Williams has hit back strongly, saying it was a case of sour grapes, since the Jose E. Jose boss had the opportunity to bid for tenders to build a similar facility to SBRC and did not. The SBRC owner said Cherry thought he could make a lot of money recycling, but having started it, he has discovered that he is losing his shirt, and now he wants SBRC to bail him out with $6 million.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of
Turning now to news from the region, the Ministry of Health in Jamaica has heightened its fever and rash surveillance system as part of measures to monitor suspected cases of the Zika virus. Minister of Health Horace Daly also told a news conference yesterday that the ministry has activated its National Emergency Operations Center, which is coordinating the country's response to the Zika virus. But the opposition Jamaica Labour Party MP Gerald Vaz is accusing the government of a massive cover-up over the virus, and he's asking how much money the government has budgeted to protect Jamaicans against the mosquito which spreads the disease.
The JLP is smelling a rat over the government's handling of the Zika virus. Mr. Vaz is alarmed by an email from the Jamaica House Communications team, which was later recalled. The email included a brief for the Health Minister Horace Daly, in which a figure of more than $500 million was estimated for a national program to deal with Zika, double what the minister had announced.
Remember this. Horace Daly tell us this. It's 200 billion them want and it's 200 billion them get. You remember? And how they're doing vector control and they're doing all kind of things to make sure that the country is prepared, because it's not if it's coming, it's when it's coming.
A well-known businessman in Guyana, Tutsi Prasad, is now hospitalized after trying to kill himself by ingesting a poisonous substance.
Relatives of the businessman are blaming a post on social media that went viral, in which the businessman was recorded insulting a traffic policeman at the Demerara Harbour Bridge. The officer had sought to get the traffic in line during the usual morning build-up.
Oh, this is your job. This is what my
Don't come and talk come in front of my face, buddy. Don't talk come in front of my
I can
face,
talk
buddy.
to him anyhow. It's my money spam.
You know
What you telling me? What are you telling me, man?
they went the wheel around it. You're trying to get these vehicles to move.
Fuck myself. This money got to be
Other family members are, however, disputing that theory, saying that the businessman had his personal problems that may have contributed to his suicide attempt.
On the international scene, British Prime Minister David Cameron is to attempt to persuade Conservative MPs to back a package of reforms he hopes will keep Britain in the European Union. The PM will field questions in the Commons about the draft deal, paving the way for the UK's EU in-out referendum.
People said to me, you'll never actually hold that referendum. That's a promise politicians make and they never keep. We've legislated for that referendum. It will happen. People said you'll never get a proper renegotiation going. We have, and you can now see the results. And across all the areas, whether it is greater controls on welfare, no more something for nothing, whether it is hardwiring competitiveness into the EU, whether it is making sure the pound sterling is treated fairly inside the EU, all of those things have been addressed in a proper way in this document. And people said that wouldn't happen, and it has.
And finally, comedian Bill Cosby yesterday sought to derail Pennsylvania prosecutors' efforts to make him stand trial on sexual assault charges, contending that a deal reached over a decade ago gave him immunity from prosecution. And on that note, we end our Barbados Today morning news update. However, you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.